Hello viewers, in this video I'm going to look at the UGREEN HDMI 4K capture card. UGREEN actually make 3 different capture cards for USB. 2 of them are restricted to recording 1080p, and this one is the 4K one and it's the most expensive one. So we need to clear a few things up before we start. Despite the name, these are not cards, these are USB accessories. You just plug them into a USB port. You don't need to take a computer to bits and put it into a PCIe slot. The second thing we need is just in terms of terminology, because video capture, well, that could just be recording some video with your phone. These really capture HDMI output and allow you to record it into a device. So because the term video capture is a bit misleading, I'm going to speak about HDMI capture, which is easy to understand, because what we're trying to do is to take an HDMI signal and record it into some software or an app. So the use case I'm going to look at primarily is going to be using this card to capture the HDMI output, so you can capture a UEFI screen for demonstrating setting up things in the BIOS of a computer or installing an operating system. Nowadays the alternative to this is to use a KVM, but the advantage of this is it's less cables and 0 security risks. So another application would be to capture the HDMI output of a mirrorless camera and to then record that into open broadcaster software, which is often called OBS Studio. What I'm not going to cover here is capturing the output from a PlayStation or gaming hardware box, because I don't have one of those to test with. Right, unboxing. This is the retail packaging. I've taken the security seals off to save time, and it tells you where to open it. So that's handy, so let's open it. Very typical product packaging nowadays with the main device at the top. This is the video capture device, and as you can see, apart from the polythene film, it's a nice small aluminium enclosure. Aluminum, by the way, if you're in the US. Let's run through the ports. So there's HDMI in, HDMI out, USB-C and a reset button. On the sides there's nothing. That bit looks like it's plastic. So on the back of the device you have the audio inputs and outputs, and these are mic in, and then you have line in, and then you have audio out, which you could probably use for monitoring. Let's put that down somewhere. I'm now going to show you how to capture the UEFI of a mini PC. In this case, this is my B-Link mini PC. I've connected the HDMI output of my mini PC to the HDMI in of the adapter, and I've connected the HDMI out of the adapter to the monitor I normally use with the mini PC, so I can see what's going on the normal screen, and the adapter is plugged into my MacBook Pro. Now I'm going to show you how to set it up in OBS Studio, and as we do that we can see how well or not that it works. I'm actually capturing my MacBook Pro screen using OBS Studio, so I need a second instance of OBS Studio to actually do the demonstration. So to do that, I'm going to open it from Terminal using the command that you can see on screen, which is open-n-a obs.app. So having dismissed various warning messages, the next thing I need to do is to try and capture my screen. So let's add the video capture device. So I'm calling it UGREEN HDMI 4K USB in case I decide to test the version, the smaller version that's not 4K. We select the device, and then we're going to go select 4K, and that worked. We now have the desktop. So I'm now going to log into my mini PC. I've also attached a USB drive to the mini PC which has Ventoy on it, and what I'm going to do to test this fully is to actually run Ubuntu from Ventoy and in the demo mode, and then we can see that it's all working. To restart Windows so that you can actually get into the UEFI, generally you often can't because it fast boots and spamming the delete or F2 keys just doesn't work. What you need to do is to restart whilst holding down Shift. So I've now got the context menu up with the key commands, and I'm just going to press R to restart, and I'm holding down Shift. So I've now restarted. I've got this blue screen. You don't need to be afraid, it's not that blue screen, we haven't crashed. To restart in the UEFI, I need to go through the troubleshooting menu. So I'm using the arrow keys to do that, and then we need to go, we don't want to reset, we want the advanced options, and then we want UEFI firmware settings. I'm looking at my top screen, by the way. And then restart, which I'm going to do with the mouse. I think I can do it with the keyboard, but I'm doing it with the mouse. Let's see if we get into the UEFI. So this is the UEFI captured in 4K. What I just did was to go back into Windows and then restart again, holding down Shift. And now we're back at the same screen. And this time we're going to try use a device. We're going to use this one, which has Ventoy on it. And with a bit of luck, we'll now come up with the Ventoy screen. This is Ventoy screen. I have another video on how to set up Ventoy. It's a handy piece of software utility, whatever you like to call it, that allows you to have multiple disk images on a USB thumb drive or USB drive or whatever you want to call that. And then you can select one of them and boot off it and do installations. So effectively you can put all your installers onto a single USB drive. At the time of recording, USB drives and everything else to do with storage have become much more expensive than they were. So this is a handy way of saving some money. Right, what we're going to do now is to select the Kubuntu desktop ISO, and I'm going to press return, and we're going to boot in normal mode. And then we're going to do the try or install because we're just going to try it. And here is where this gets interesting, because if you're using the try mode and want to quickly demonstrate something, you're not going to go installing OBS and screen capture that way. It's much easier to do it this way by capturing the HDMI output. So let's press return. We're going to boot into Ubuntu, and I'm going to load terminal, and we're just going to see how crisp the text is as the test. So you can see we're capturing the boot screen. It's looking promising. And we're going to go try. And here you can see we're up and running. So I've opened terminal. Let's just do ls.alh, so we've got some text on the screen. There we go. I think you can see that this works pretty well. So I'm going to stop this section here, and then I'm going to do a little section wrapping this up and giving you my thoughts and conclusions on whether this is a good buy or not. Here you can see I've connected the HDMI output from my Nikon Z6 III, and you can see this provides a way of capturing the overlay from the screen on the back of the camera. The only downside, and the thing that prevents this being a useful mobile solution, is that you have to have something plugged into the HDMI output of the adapter for it to actually work. In conclusion, if you want to capture the HDMI output of a computer, this is a great way of doing it. But if you want to use this with a mobile device, I don't think I would recommend it. I think there's better options available. The problem with using it with a mobile device is it's going to drain the battery very quickly, and unless you have something connected to the HDMI output, it won't actually record anything at all. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. Have a fantastic day.